Uganda menankubuzaako abali mu state Uganda abali ku lwa East Africa namwe n'abatala wamanya butabira ku media platforms ez'enjawulo nga Facebook, Twitter ne ku YouTube enambe bazokuba nti mutugobera mwebale nnyo kuba nti musakola tamwe wadde data ya be ne mugamba nti gano tubugobera STV amacha malungi era nsaba mukama mwenabeere nga bamalira nyongera okubanga mbakutya tutye Allah tubere nga tumwesinza tubere nga tumugondera ajja kuba tumalira butavuna betulina Tati nkatage manya program the sharp talk novu na butamali mjipatu watu sede sawa zine numano kwa naku wakubiri tuwatu wetulie leo mkuna vyatu sede mwali mtabani wa mugenzi Yowana minimama mwari na matovu bado zati kula liyo mwana yukubanti dituteme temele nsonga ngabe stambula mugwanga amachaga lero nso ngenda kuba ngenda tandika nembera etali inunga mu Burundi oba etali ya sanyu ngamu na Uganda ate muna byamizannyo nina okunyola ku mutima nina nyiike ne konda eri abakulembeza batutwala njogera ku FUFA nenjogera National Council of Sports nenjogera ku Ministry of Sports and Education nenjogera ku bakulembeze beggwanga Uganda kikuwa kiswaza era nga kikuba enchuko kuba nti Silverbacks timu yaffe national team ya basketball eremedde okuba nti egenda okuba nti ezanya qualifiers za World Cup abwe naye wensero milioni 2.5 zokka milioni 2.5 zokka eggwanga ddamba Uganda eremedde okuba nti sponsoringa team okuba nti egenda okuba nti ekikamiza nnyo kyannaku kiswaza naye nga twebuuze mu bingi biteekamu ensimbi newebuuza ninakibuzo kyenebuuza mbutuufu esafi Uganda tetulina kisaawe National Stadium nti kisaawe kishineeno singa lero Mulindi agamba nti mbakooye ng'eggwanga temudda wange tukekyalizawo emipiira nga mugamba nti muyagala okuba nti muyamba abavubuka mala okuba nti mununa abavubuka okuba nti tubakwatako tukwate ku byemizannyo bisobola okuba nti byepulenga abavubuka bangi nnyo n'ensi yoti Uganda mbutuufu tetujagaliza ng'abakulembeze
nabagamba I wrote a brief. Umukono amba bubi nnyo. Nabaga it was wrong. Okutwala first lady mu
politics.
Nembaga nti ababbi bajja kuyingiramu. Abalabe babalowooza nti popularizing yourself. Kubaka abusinga yakubanga opinion polls. Nga naye mwali mu bavuganya president. Abagabagala oba president.
Yeah.
Kakati a problem Elimo sports, come wherever you cannot discuss it openly.
Openly, yes.
Next time when you put it, Uganda soccer.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a sports writer.
Yeah.
A trained sports writer. Era nakawandika mulindwa yanguli emotoka Regias.
Lwakatabako.
Yes.
Very good.
Yangulira Regias ne waka ekyaliwo nakwezi namuga nti ekaddiye naye njagala ngitunde era tuddemu ekirabo kya Mulindo kisigale.
Okay.
Lawrence Mulindo we are knowledgeable people but mu Africa mu mawanga amalala agatali Africa gavumenti ensi ebeeramu bagiwadde omuliro flatterers abagala okulya
ensimbi
bagende wa Museveni bamuga nti gwe toyogera n'abagenda okugendayo babasereketinga n'asoma ekiwandiiko nala disi kyasoma sajja temumubuusa kumujja mu muudu netufunamu ne voice of reason people like me.
Yeah.
I'm part of government. I support government but I'm not part of government.
Yeah.
Kakati ffe the voice of reason tulaba ekintu ekiri mu gavumenti
temukyogererawo
ekikubuulira oyomba n'oyomba ne tubeeramu ne opposition ebeera gavumenti in waiting ekulisizinga policy eno n'eno kati mu Uganda temuli opposition
mulimu ki
temuli academicians beebaka let me ask you in 1983 Mono newspaper where I was working as a junior reporter organized Chekafa emipira.
Mono?
Yes.
Okay.
Because of Sekabembe. There was a kisawe in Mbale. There was a kisawe in Bugembe. There was a kisawe in Bugembe in Kacheka. Nina Chivubu. I remember twazanyako ne Kenya. Uganda negenda ne bagikuba negenda Mbale. Where did these bisaawe disappear?
Muze Tamale nakulira nakawa erugogaawo twalina ebisaawe nga 8 byali bisinga nawo nga 8 gwe nakulira naye byonna byalagawo. National Stadium tulina kisaawe
kyekubuulira nti Namboole Abachina bamutuwa. Government bought 2 square miles of land in Namboole. Compensated everybody. Baddamu ne balitunda ekyapa kiri wa muntu. Kati bana abamawulire bwe babagula bakulaga wotalogidi Namboole.
Tebalaga kituufu.
Abachina aboogera Oluganda n'Olunyankole baali recommending bakitunde mukula ne yeepakingawo ne premier buses ne zijjawo as sitting hotel tenants.
Bagala compensation.
Kajala earmarked allocated 3 billion for airlifting of Namboole bamutunde ne bazibba. Musajja bali bamuyita Mugisha bajja banoonya because the data is there. Yes.
Nemutuufu kiswazanga eggwanga abakulembeza batutwala bali kyokube mu mutima wemanga mwagaliza eggwanga Uganda muze Tamale tugende mpola no
what repercussions what punishment do you give ku basajja abagenda ekigali ne babba sente z'abaki olina ga tukyabuliriza National Council of Sports will you investigate Nika when the woman follows pregnant?
Let's look at this scenario. Tunyomba nnyo ensi Rwanda. Tugamba nti Rwanda ki? Rwanda yazimbe arena ya basketball. One of the best mu Africa. Ne mu mwaka gumu gwokka.
Kagama ina abasoma.
Wano busuma bitulemesezza.
Sasa. Ni munid. Akate bitembikaba mu. Temubikaba mu awuti bannabbirawo.
Okay.
Naye singa tiimu eyo ngaba n'abaana abaddusi. Bwe baakomawo President abuuza, what vehicles do you want? You like it? Muze, you already bought them. Abana bo mwali mubalabyeko n'emmotoka ezo ziri expensive.
Tetuzirabangako.
Yes.
Buli kimu kati kibatabiramu kye bakikola.
Insatiable urge for money, greed, humiliating people, and lack of interest in our country. Bibiriwa.
Ngabe nabe mizannyo nine ennaku era esonga eno butuufu yeetaga vehicle kubanga eggwanga
amawulire bagagaginga
tebula kyogerako buli omu asirise buli omu yeesirikidde
akabukidde kaleega lugongo kati olupapula kalufudde essomero badidde omusajja ono omuzadde naye mwemba oba mwakulya mu famire eki nti omwana wange I believe strongly nti bamutta nensaba sente Gasumba nafuuka negotiator billion simanyimu
oba otunda kika
omuzimu tegukutta gwe
abo tutuse ku level nti omuntu omwana bamusse ne kati mumpe musse
nabali ne bazimumu kuba sikituufu empapula nezikuba bwaledi people bwabukidde ne butunuulidde billion eno.
That is too bad.
You cannot have poor journalists. Tebalina kye bakola because the media is the forces.
Yes, bwekiri.
Yerwanirira
abantu.
Kakati media ya mwenfu nti babagula. A billion buli omu yavuddeyo except me.
Ensonga eggwera
abasirikale yali ampa million ya dollar I rejected.
Oveko organic case.
Banomba byonna ejjogo lyabwe nemba bana ejjogo lyabwe. John nabalabanga berondamu. Because the ICC insisting they should go. Kakati babagambye ba lawyer baabwe from Germany, from Britain, newalala. Baba wa sente bo. Naye nze mbaga to give your lawyers money, you are wasting your time.
Okay.
When I'm around.
Wewa.
Yes. Kakati okiraba.
Nchiraba.
Media tesobola kuwandika ku organic case. Bajiwa 10 billion. Kano n'obutu bwako kana akabbeka n'akasuma nako kali awo kaleegangalabi. Your country is in a big dilemma. Because the media is dead. Kakati president yakugambye nti alagidde baala DC bagende bamobilizinga abantu. Nenkugamba nti bijja kukola. Wawulidde ekizindaalo?
Sinnakiwulira.
Kati eddagala terijja ku expiring.
Era lijja ku expiring.
Yes. Baba aladisibe bamuga nti abamawulire basaba sente media institutions
okuja otuchaza bagala sente
ate ne basiba tebazituusa
tebazireta
zina bagambye mu designing akalango byayogedde yene anadivert form katambule musasule nabusaya akakwata asasule neko lisa agenda kujjayo omuntu simanyi national gondi ani azibbe ngabo bakola bulijjo bazinyaga Museveni is facing a hostile media.
Okay.
Agent bikalisa waliwo n'omulala be bavuba ssente abantu babawa
Bwechiri era tezituuka.
Yes. Kakati Museveni, as he is trusted by people, he does not have a media. The media is not even credible.
Yeah.
Tewaliimu. Bali mu byakatemba. Ekitegeeza ya designing eno gundi. Ekibategeeza nti temulina media. Look at this cartoon. In media practices, a cartoon, even in media law, a cartoon is charged differently.
Okay.
Look what Museveni. Look what Uganda. Ewenyera. Look what Uganda is in plasters, bandages. He's walking, you know.
Efunye ine ebisago. Eri ku clutches.
Museveni abagamba atya. Nobody can do what?
Nobody will disturb your peace. Mumbera
Uganda mbera jeri.
Mbera eri ku clutches.
Kakati
ine ebiwundu.
Ne bali okabate kono bali omunsi waggulu. Bali omunsi omulaba bwaga.
Oyo wali waggulu.
Kakati they are attacking the minister and the president.
The president.
But I don't think that there is any knowledgeable person who rang these people. Whatever they combined, the minister and the president.
And the president. Okay.
But nobody observes this. Which means, if you don't have a media,
the media,
you don't have this media, and this is why banaba security bagenda ne bangubira amasimu. Atotukuba, are my programs paid for by government?
No.
I've spent 8 years without getting a facilitation from government. These are my programs.
Yes.
If you take somebody who doesn't know how to sing, you have a wife who cannot cook properly, do you bring a neighbor's wife to cook for you?
No.
Sentiza mumuziria muzeri.
Bazerire.
Kakati abo bobagamba. Nti media is very crucial. Media, a trusted media. Yeah. Not a malicious media.
Malicious media.
Not a mercenary media. Kakati chino okira kati soko somono gundi.
Ali.
Nti police target parents. You were mistaken in
to stop ADF recruits.
It tells you that Yenanga is out, the police is out of touch with the security.
Okay.
Look, when you see somebody who does not have a solution, who doesn't understand the problem, give zero solution.
Okay.
The police, I wish I had come with my newspaper of Daily Nation, of Sunday. The parents of those boys who had escaped from a committee narrated their story. How their boys disappeared from school. Somebody went and came back, but they later had read in the newspapers that their sons had escaped from a committee. Abazadde babadde bamanyi. Abazadde babadde bamanyi. Do you know where you
simanyi.
Owomukyala ganti ali Kampala.
Bwekiri.
Owomukampala n'alowooza nti yagenda bweru.
N'ayogera birala.
Yes, babatika kunyonyiwa bagenda bweru. Even now that it has been announced nti 4,000 Ugandan girls were killed in India alone and their organs extracted for sale. Even Idi Amin did not kill people for sale.
Teyakikolako.
Media teyogera bakyatika embwaza.
Tukola kimu kumuvuma buvumi.
Kubanga babirimu bali powerful. Kakati if you have a dead media, what do you do? Kati bano onenanga tamanyi. Are you going to work like the border of US and Mexico? Are you going to work like a Gondi on a Musajja Badeko president of America? Are you going to erect a wall to divide Congo? Is it possible? How are you going to control the inflow where you are going to build the roads and other activities?
You're just opening up the borders. It is opening up.
Let me tell you, when you read my book, President was addressing a family, and the family appreciated what I did for them. 8 years ago, when I was still in State House, a woman came up and said, "This man is a drunkard. Am I your husband? How many books have you written? The only thing you can write, you woman, is a letter to your boyfriend, if you have one. Why do you hang on me? Why did you talk about my character? A man who left the State House 8 years, am I part of your staff? You see the problem in Africa. People would be cleaning the toilets, find their way in the corridors of power like a state house. Why do you talk about me? He drinks, yes, I drink. But my mental capacity is high. What have you written? You are in parliament, you have not even made your maiden speech, and I doubt whether you will make it. So stop talking about me. He's a drunkard. Yes, I drink. I drink, I'm not your husband. I drink. Put what you have, you who doesn't drink. Put what you have on the table. Omanya Abaganda tukiyita kumemengwa. Tulina okwogera, tulina okumemengwa, tulina n'okunyumya. Bya kumemengwazi. And the Baganda say, ebbula bikolwa liwanula amenvu emisana. To failure to have something serious to do, you engage in the sex as if you have something important to do at night. Okay. Stop kumemengwa on me. Whenever you have state house meetings.
Mr. Gabe, tukomeo.
He's a drunkard. Am I your husband? Am I your son? Next time talk about serious issues, not to talk about my character. Person who left the state house 9 years ago. What type of fools are these?
Okay.
When you read my book, The Rise of Terrorism in Uganda, I will tell you.
Yes. All of these measures,
you have failed to understand. One, I told you, about security.
Yes.
Nabagenti terrorist bano bafuna sente emirundi egi.
Emirundi esatu.
One, they are hired by big people in the government to assassinate people.
They are hired?
Yes, I have
by people in the government.
I have recordings.
Yeah.
I survived.
Okay.
In my case, somebody took 50 million.
Okujokumalawo.
Okutanzita.
Utakuta.
Nachobezi case 600 million. Yes.
So, machinery
babagula to kill. This is the source of their money.
Okay.
Two, mercenarism, as the president pointed out. Nakitegeera nti Mozambique went to Rwanda. Why? Most of the fighters that had attacked Mozambique had come from this place, from Uganda.
From Uganda.
So mercenary work and the donations.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
This is if you want to challenge me, that they can give you the recorded wound, but you cannot. I told the security man, come with the money. Come with the money. You get money to do work which you don't do. So therefore, if you want to get information from me, pay. Ripa. Yeah, because I'm a private man.
Okay.
Kakati, what you don't know, look at the situation in northern Nigeria. Boko Haram. Why are they there? How did they emerge? When the northerners, when Nigeria started a democratic journey, most of the generals were coming from northern Nigeria.
Okay.
Obasanjo sacked over 50 generals from northern Nigeria. Kakati sente ez'obwerere zaali mu government. At one time in 75, the Hausas were paid money ogenda okusoma. Ngati basoma.
Okay.
Bajja mu magye. Kakati sente ez'obubbi bwe zaava mu northern Nigeria eziva mu government. Obwavu ne bubakwata. Kiki ekizeeyo?
Kwe kulwanagana kunene okuliwo.
Yes.
Kwe kuyingira obuyeekera.
They don't have economic activities.
Yes.
Kakati, when you look at Mozambique, how can an Islamic group threaten Mozambique's government to survive? Because I don't think that they have a sizable number of Muslims in Mozambique.
In Mozambique.
Why? These are mercenaries. They are ready to die. Kakati, when you look in Uganda, when you read my book, I tell you the history of Islam in Uganda.
Okay.
Into the first generation of Muslims married 4 wives, as according to your diniam. Nebazaala abaana bangi
nnyo
ne batasoma. Kakati first generation abaana abo abaali tebali bayigirize baafuna emirimu mu social sector.
Okay.
Bw'abaawo omupiira gw'ogenda okusiba bayita jjuma.
Beba makanika.
Yes. Abafumbi b'emmere baki?
Basiraamu.
Abali mu hotels. Abavuzi b'emmotoka baki?
Basiraamu.
The destruction of what by the thugs, the thieves. Do you know the impact?
Itoda yalijudde Basiraamu.
Yes.
Bana bali mu mmotoka zaabwe.
Ne bagijjawo ne
bagikuba ne bagimalawo.
Ne bagimalawo ne badduka. Boda zijjudde mu baki? Kakati gwe kati kisaka n'omutwe gwe ate aleeta bus. Continue, I clap for you. If you burn the nearby bush, the snakes sneak into your house.
Tamale kati nkulaba otandikire Nigeria. Bano webagobwa abali bali mu kintu ne bagobwa ba genos. Mirimu ne gigwawo bayingira ki?
Bakala kala.
Wale wana genos okumate abantu bajjako emirimu. Bo bakole ki?
Bakole ki? Ne ekinanga mu mutwe gwe tasobola takimanyi when they sit in a group because the foreigners thinkers we sit ne mara okutegeera nti abaana abagenda ebweru okusoma Saudi Arabia wa batono nnyo abagatta ebyensi
n'ebyeddiini. Yes,
and unlike Christianity emizikiti gy'abantu
mizikiti gy'abantu. Yes, bwe kiri mizikiti gy'abantu.
Omwana nga ye imam.
Yeah, bwe kiri.
Do you have the arrangement where you accommodate the sheikhs who have come back? Kakati abo nabo tebalina mirimu ba sheikhs. Kakati ate nabana abaana ababadde beekoledde emirimu najjo mugibabbyeko mbwaggala nsalo enanga naye bamwakulirabo. Can you close the border?
Mzee Tamale,
when a snake can sneak into your house?
President Bavana agamba nti security ye erirawo ebeera ku laxity babeera mu Uganda na Uganda asigalewa.
No,
bazukanga waliwo kikka ku
there is nobody who can be on alert 24 hours.
Church bafuna kuba tebabeera ku alert.
A human being is a human being. Why is it that when you go to Birmingham Palace bagamba nti sawa mukaaga awo abantu bagenda balaba aba change of guard abendo kuyibaveewo abasirikale bwe bali ku parade bagwa okujjako Rwanda bwogera ku parade bagoba maji ne wano bagwa ate bwogenda Southern Sudan olw'omusana efuru parade yegwa ne baleeta endala ne bakamanda baabwe.
Okay,
kati omutayinza kubeera ku alert. Me, I stay outside my house at night, especially when I receive information that I'm in danger. You can find nabo bantu abasirikale nabo bantu
bwekana ku gosi bwetugamba nti abasirikale banene oluusi nabo bagamba nti muludde ekintu okukiibwa kyevala bakola ebintu ebimu. Laxity teva ku mbeera okuba nti bayisibwa bubi.
Abapoliisi abatalya
abapoliisi abatalina
masannyalaze
abasalibwako sente ez'omusaala embeera tebafuna okuba nti bakola ebintu nga bineeno. President bino abimanyi.
When you go to Sierra Leone, how did Valentine Stresser come to power at the age of 24? The generals refused to send these people money when they are fighting the rebels. So they struck a deal. We are young. We are young.
Jangu.
Do you have a house? Mukiboga mu capital. Bakola deal.
Bwe kiri.
Bonna baana bato. Era tinyefunza yagamba governor wa Bank of Uganda. You don't have money at the Ministry of Finance. Let us change positions. Come and command Northern Uganda operation. I will send you money when I'm governor Bank of Uganda. That was the influence.
Okay.
Powerful, confident. Yes.
Mzee Tamale tuva ku nsonga twaganja tupinga tugivaako. President Museveni ayina mu speech ye yakoze yagedde ebigambo bingi naye ayina bwe yatuuse na defending security. Okuba nti nno basse Sheikh Kirevu n'abalala bangi abadde abazze battibwa.
Nayongedde okwadima yalinga Islam. Mayinza mwana adima yalovu Islam. If Kirevu was a Christian priest, he would have been buried in a shallow grave. Everybody would be running away. The Muslims went there, expressed their solidarity with their sheikh, and left. And they were not violent. Yeah. And they left the judgment to Allah.
Islam is peaceful. Singa mseyo nechimanyi. Obusiramu bwa mirembe bannaye. Singa enseri ekimanyi. Obusiramu bwa mirembe.
Omanyiza iro kwatira small things. Wali wa mubanja nga wa secondary school. Wa primary school. Tayina sente ziweri abana be mu ssomero. Musajja naganti normally omanyi akasajja kwa buke dako nabaganti government bwe erikategeera nabo balikewunyanga basheeke ba.
Okay.
Akasajja kabuke daka ine empandika je kawandiikamu. Akasajja kabuke daka kagenti bamasheeke bewunyiza. Abasajja baterrorist baba ne sente naye ono omwavu bwa. And the government has no capacity.
Kunoonya.
Yes. Government kyetayina or media tejina and people who think beyond average intelligence nti government does not explain that at one time we gave these people amnesty.
Yeah.
Baba
Yeah.
kwatire Buseruka.
Yes.
One of those who had been arrested in Buseruka is Sekito Owakasi. Abakubo Kamala. Because he had been indoctrinated.
Okay.
Kasita abakuba n'abogoloza. Nenga kasi oyo Sekito yava bun. Amnesty kyali kitegeeza denounce violence and transform you. Sente zaabwe baazibba.
Tebafuna sente zaabwe.
Did the government maintain a close contact monitoring to these boys? Abali bafunye amnesty? Yes. Kubanga once the government, certain things they are doing is as if this is a new government.
Yeah.
No. Okulwa mu power kitegeeza nti osanga ensonga yo government ya America ya myaka 8
yebwe kiri.
A president of the United States can afford okulekawo ensonga ezimu. Ndi kakati ye ono bwaze ajje maje mu Afghanistan. The other one deployed.
Yes, on agajjeyo.
Depending on after 20 years should we remain in Afghanistan?
Gatukula yo.
Kakati ina chances. A problem that has been created by one government is solved by another.
By another government.
But if you have 35 years in power,
and
that's what I tell my mom. Nti mama, understand. Olumbo oluta baby teruta mukadde. If we wait to live longer, amaaso gajja kuziba.
Yes.
Amagulu tegajja kutambula wadde agagoba akakuba. These are consequences of overstaying on earth.
On earth. Tera nawe bwosigala mu nayo bulamu buyinza. Waliwo ebijjo kukola ki?
Nti kakati tulina contradictions zetukola. Naye nga luli nazibagambirawo nga bazikola. Nembaga zijja kuvaamu obubbi nga abasuma. Obusuma, greed, insatiable urge for money, humiliating the people.
Mzee Tamale, njalo obere open ku nsonga oberekiri obulire gwanga. Why are suspects obacha abantu battibwa on arrest? Bana kye bakweka.
Anti nabo kye bakoze.
Bana kye bakweka.
You see, lwaki gwe you analyze. Lwaki bali bagenza okutega bomu ewono gwe bali bagenda okuziba.
Allocate.
Yatabannaabwe. That's revenge.
Okay.
Era kati yakubye ekireve esasi bajja kumunoonya kubanga security is infiltrated. Babategeera.
Yakubye ekirevu. Bali bagenda mukola ki?
No, naye bali bagenze. I analyze these things because for me, I am not seeing terrorism for the first time.
Okay.
Mbisoma mu nsi yonna.
Naye tuba tusuubira nti omuntu singa bakwatiddwa tumujja mu information. Atubire seri nanga bweri.
It depends.
Ne wachattibwa.
It depends on the commander. Maybe government is fed up because of the judiciary.
No, oba kiri nti muzaita wangambi these people baba bangisa ba machinery. Oba obatta kukweka bujulizi tebogera bakama baabo.
Gonde dokita bamwita
Kiyingi.
babaga nti ase mukazi we. They arrested the alleged killer. Bagenda mu court. Musango bwe gutambula in normal circumstances. Once you eliminate the person who pulled the trigger, that's why when we are trained in the security batugamba, a serial killer can easily be exposed except if he is a criminal lawyer, a senior police officer, a judge, but eventually a person who does not fall under the above categories ends up exposing himself.
Okay.
Like omukikirwa wa Tooro. Omukikirwa wa Tooro ate yayagala okutta gwe yagula.
Okutta gwe baje nnyo.
Basooka kutta ba Mirundi bali abamulaba Fort Portal.
Yes.
N'abatta. Kakati when you look at nti you become a serial killer and eventually you are exposed.
Okay.
This man is only lucky nti bajjayo omusango gumu. Naye nabagamba ne munnamawulire wange yafa. Nga bagenza omusaba ssente.
Sorry.
Yes. Kakati you become a serial killer. Kakati mu kesi ya Kiyingi. A man who pulled the trigger whose evidence would be relied on in a court, baleeta take away. Never take away. Is it acceptable in prison rules for a prisoner to eat food that is not tested by the prison authority?
No, but in the quantity tested.
When the bus, they boarded the bus, the man developed stomach pains. By the time he arrived at the Rosira gate, was dead. But the presiding judge did not order a postmortem report. What changed was that the original lawyers Matova, the company advocate, left the case and gave it to Kabega, an expert in murder cases. And they were acquitted. The moment you eliminate the man who pulled the trigger, in Uganda, I eliminated. Yes.
Why?
That's the prime suspects. No, I make a research.
Okay.
I cannot reason like you. If I reason like you, my programs will be propaganda programs like yours. Nti umuserikali wa police who wants to explain things agenda mu program yaliwo musana ne muwanga kivumbi ne bamupira ne bamufuula omusi because the police cannot address the public on this road.
Okay.
Abantu bajjira
bwe kiri.
Been fed with wrong information for a long time. Yes.
Okay, enough of that. Nga tumalisagala nyo tugende kuba sala kugenda nnyo regional
nakugamba nti kusande today your attorney general Kiwanuka is meeting people who claim to have bought the tax park. I wanted to read in one of my books to tell you how the whole thing operated. The president directed that it was not a policy of NRM to sell public places like markets, tax parks to businessmen. And the Orania committee recommended the compensation for people like Basajja Balaba, Kano Mujenyi, all of those who had bought markets. Jeno Mugere, I think Brigadier Mujenyi. Oyo no musajja kale. Kajina yali aganya okupangisa ekizimbe kye. Oyo musajja omumanyi. Mugenyi. Akankana bwati. Mugenyi challenges you. How? Nagamba mbuga wano. Nemugamba nti mbuga don't complain to people that you don't have money.
Okay.
Bewaleka wano bakoze iki?
Bayina ki?
Oba gwe gwe basiba. Bazisaba gwe. Bobo babeera mu komera bakola ki? When you go to this man, Gond, Mugenyi, you wonder, nti kajina yali ajje yunula mu kizimbe ky'endozera yagijja mu afe. And this balokole. Omusajja oyo ye yasooka okutegulira bbomu mu Kampala. Mujenyi. Ngalina embadi. Ono amekamanda. Ngambadi junior we. Bagenda China because the Chinese technology at that time was crude. Nakuba nervous system.
Okay.
Singa government yemwene sente n'okwera abaana.
Compensation kuba nti yali.
Yes.
Okay.
Naye yakola ne company n'emirimu tebagiwa kagina yali amugobye mu ekizimbe. Not because Yinula has constructed a building to go to another place so that this man dies.
Alimukubanga afuna akasente kali kabadde afuna.
Namugamba to embarrass these people, write a book. I will come here every good Friday. Onyonyoli to embarrassing abantu bano. This man you see there was a nice looking young man and some man who trained in detonating bombs to help Uganda najja mu nervous system.
Okay.
The exercises he does a day, the money he spends would be incurred by government. Olumala okujoga ne badduka, olumala okujoga ne bakanywa kasasira ate paka lwe bali kujjayo bakunaazeeko bye bakujoga ate okomewo.
Let's come back to tumalize ensonga ya paka tugende ku issue.
Kankugambe nti nawandika akatabo kano but am I seeing it properly? Nawandika akatabo kano nakatuuma Baganda and the politics of wheelbarrow pushing. You see, in all government scandals, Baganda are the casualties. In the construction business, when you are constructing a building, the people who die normally are the wheelbarrow pushers. The engineers.
Bayinga tebabeerawo.
Olumala okujoga bane bali sente ne badduka. Ono Nasali, ono Mbuga, ono was acquitted, Gondi, engineer Byandala. Ono Kivumbi, bamala omugoba nti abyate ne bamugoleza ne bajja babbiremu emba. Kakati are they two Kivumbis? The one you sacked and the one you accorded kuba babbiremu sente za State House. Tekasa omukolo baguyingiramu bagula omuceere naki. Ono Lukwago. bamugoba mu ministry ya health bayingiremu battiremu abantu izerake man bamuwako obutwa
ngagwe
Lukwago was poisoned Lukwago agenda naye omukazi oyo akulo alla kyavudde amugalamiza ku ttaka alifa yafadda arrested Lukwago on allegation Lukwago yali abba ssente bamugulya ekiddiiro nabagaba basasule cause company erife bo bennyini ababbi nga be bagitaddewo kakati Lukwago was arrested and taken to Kireka by that Akuloma. When I heard about the information, I was still in State House. I rang Akayihula. How can a permanent secretary be dragged to Kireka as a criminal? You first see him. Kireka rang Akulu. A permanent secretary cannot be grilled at Kireka. By the time Kayihula moved in, it was 4 p.m. Ngabamusibiza. Lukwago is alive. When Lukwago went back to his car, okujja open up, yalinako nga bigirisi bwe biti. N'abuuza driver we, have you washed the car? Ati nange bwe batuleese akulo nze yansibidde eno gwe naye akulo akulagidde ku nsi kuno kyonootaka mu jahannama kuba gwe oli wa jahannama.
Omusalidde
akulo wa jahannama.
Obuyinza bwa Mungu yasalawo.
Akulo wa jahannama. Ati gomezza nnyo abantu. Kakati Lukwago okwata ku bifura bino byali poison nga busagwa bw'omusota guli Congo. When Lukwago entered his office, he collapsed on the chair.
Kulebiri byakutteko.
Yes. His secretary rang Kireka. What have you done to my boss? An arrogant voice answered, is he still alive? Are you sure? Is he still alive? Ask Lukwago. Those are people he praised. That I come and interact with you. Would you interact with the grave? You wanted to switch off my programs. What if you succeeded? This man should go home and rot. I'm not rotting, but you have been humbled by ICC. Every time I watch them, nga beerondamu ani asookayo bani abagenda kuba baloya babagambye mujje mulaga ICC nti muli weringi okugenda n'okudda nembalaba bwebeeru nendyoka ntyokako edduba lyange nenzina humbled. Very humbled. The usual arrogant pharaohs have been humbled, humiliated to the bone marrow. They never zakatunda. Nengena mu chachi yange. Nempayo ofatole. Kakati
wabaddeyo kikaliga kabuzi.
Nkugamba nti but I'm not seeing properly. Those are tala sinto. Nkugamba nti Shidu and Saida Bumba. On Tuesday, 19th February 2012, while on my way to Kenya, on my way to Kisumu, I received several telephone calls. This was not unusual for many people calling me and this is someone. Amaso
tegalaba.
Kakati somove wano otegeere bano kiwanuka baatula nabo bafere eggwanga. I sent a message to the Minister of Kampala, don't interfere. Leave Kiwanuka and his group to steal the money. They are still young. One day they will spend much of their time in inquiries and commissions.
Okay, yes. On Thursday, 19th February 2012, while on my way to Kisumu, I received several telephone calls. This was not unique for many people calling me for several reasons. What surprised me was that all the phone calls were on one subject: designation of Saida Bumba and Chidu Makube. Chidu had vowed not to throw in the towel because, according to him, he could defend whatever he did. His argument did not surprise me because he was using his legal microscope. This to me was not legal, it was really politics. Real politics does not mean telling the truth.
It was malice at play.
In many cases, our parliament operates on mobilism without regard to the law. Like Bumba, Chidu had committed several blunders. For example, immediately they were implicated in the scandal, they invoked the name of the president. This, however, created more trouble for them. The president had not directed them to any specified figure or amount. President Museveni had not cleared Basajja Balaba's billions because it was not his responsibility to compute the figure. Secondly, the practice of ministers to hide behind the president had failed in the Chogam scandal. Chogam scandal group had tried to drag the president in their mess, which backfired. It's amazing that Saida and Chidu repeated the same mistake. Secondly, the more important secondly, and more importantly, the SAMPAC members were part of the FDC scheme to impeach the president in order to discredit him before the eyes of the public and to isolate him in the international community. They also want to incite Ugandans to overthrow this government. Therefore, ministers on the 2 occasions were encouraged by the PAC to implicate the president to serve FDC sinister moves. In fact, Parliament forced Saida and Chidu to resign unfairly because of the following reasons. 1. Argument is not that Basajjabala was not entitled to any payment. No, Basajjabala had a claim to compensation. 2. Ministers had powers to approve payment. What was at the dispute was the amount of money paid to Basajjabala. 3. Who should determine the figure? The Auditor General raised the query and said the money was much. Yes, let us assume that it was much. What was the actual that would be paid to Basajjabala? Arguing that Basajjabala should refund the money and that the minister paid him more than he was entitled to means that they paid beyond an agreed figure. What is this figure?
Yes. Kakati president weyalagira basasule babasajjabala babasasula ba mugenyi babasasula bani. If these people who claim to have bought the tax pack would have been paid in the same
mukumundi ewo nabali basasula ate mwana waro kanso
which means they will never bought
nino murugwe nabadi ne
not qualified
ava mu KCCA yagamye ate kati bali 14
anti
no
much one kwabata mutekemu details are there who knew
the compensation
who knew tujja kubana bakokabanga linga bakadeba batwala. When you are having a nice meal, do you remember at that time that you will need a toilet paper? Do you ask where this day they lock up the toilets? When you are having a nice meal, you ask for a fork, not a toilet. I sent a message to the Minister of Kampala. Don't bother. When these people want to take money, they will take it.
Okay.
Kakati the argument, following argument, till who evaluates payment.
The payments.
Payments are evaluated by 2 people. The government valuer,
yes,
and courts of law. But the problem with the Basajjabala was first to demand much money. The nguzi they gave is not countable. Toyiza genda nogamba gundi nogamba government valuer nti bano nabawe nguzi okumpa akatale. But the nguzi was there in billions. Yes. Nti enyumba tinyefunza je yali alwanira mu yali akolera omusajja omusuubuzi yagigula millions of dollars nazi wati nyefunza.
Okay.
Kakati omusajja oyo kati is dead. Kakumba alowooza nti musisi muntu agende wa musamu gamba nti nyamba nawayo sente zange nyingi mugunde no committee eya city council ekukkiriza okugula ne babadde changes wezijjiddewo gwojje babadde tebannamaliriza resolution.
Okay.
Kakati musisi namugamba nti omanye nti yajja ne million 10,000 musiya mukwatirawo musale sedi kakumba ni million meka bisatu. Kakati naye nga Kakumba tayina resolution city council's committee etunda
teyamwa resolution
anti yali tanabagula bamalayo
yanesoko bagula
genda ogula ettaka lya Buganda Land Board olaba abataka bonna bwe baggwayo abalangira bonna bwe baggwayo
bono olina okubawa.
Yes. Kakati buying property in Uganda, the amount of money a businessman like Basajjabala spends okufuna obutale obwo togamba nti biri kugundi ku merit abawa
asoka kubalisa bonna.
Kakati
tunula figure ya sasudde
the government value cannot include
how can compensation egenda kujjete mu matiza.
Era president waliwo ennyumba eri munda mu State House omugenzi mulowooza yali agiguze kati ne bagiteeka ku billion oba 9 president blocked the payment. Why? Akayumba kano kendaba kano inside the State House bagenda omubadde ne bamugamba emyaka 12 that man was denied income yali tayingiramu because of security. We are not valuing the plot alone.
No.
Where you agreed punitive measures. Kakati waliwo akayumba akalala ng'oyingira ku Kota Gadiokero House. Government yasasulako half. Naye nga bazannya Museveni bamunda. Ne bakola endagaano. Tekasa emyezi 6 giggwako nga second payment tegeereddwa poteya era poteya.
Weewaawo bwe wetambula ensonga tubizigenda okuba nga zitambula ebintu buli omu kati yamu buli kakati mu break tugenda tudda tova ku TV tukomawo tubeera wenna ali mu Uganda emitala y'amayanja tutabeera ku TV ali mu office yo ali ku mulimu ali mu ddiro lyo ali ku Facebook oba ku YouTube naye mukwebaza ku bantu otugobera bangi nnyo ababeera kutugobera era mbeebaza okuba nina mwe muli abatugobera mwenna mbeebaza naye mzee Tamale nga tukyagenda mu maaso mukwano gwaffe aja Kibimatovu yafuna akabenje President bypass awo era n'emmotoka yonna neggwawo ebintu byonna ne babitwalako ku kyana ne bakimutwalako era bambi tusaba Mungu abeere haji tusaba Mungu abeere nga akusuusa era akabenje kawafuna saba kusasulemu ekisinga obungi akusinga okusinga obungi haji
omuntu amugambye uyina experience mu ttaka come and help me to settle my basenze azze bali basibyeye
kituufu
ndigenda omuwabire nti bamuliyeko
yenkola y'abantu ennaku zino
ono gundi ono Kirunda court by relief bali tebayinza mukkiriza kubeerawo mulitwayo ya keesi ey'ekkanisa ene kanisa gye baakuba nakali mahadi to arrest him omusajja ali wuwe nga yeebaza ne bamukubira tiwaliwo omusajja mukwano akuba mukazi wagenda kumutta lash kozi bamuteze Kirunda bamugamba mbuyetaba n'omuntu okutta omuntu
tubadde mukuwummula
naye abaana bammwe bagenda kudda wabakazi mmwe do you think about the future
tubadde mukuwummula
by buying off newspapers you have solved the problem the hatred you are getting Kirunda bamubba miliyoni 10 ofisi ya Nakalema
nga kibi nnyo
anti bwe kibasooka okukola bakulyako ssente ti when you go even if you make a noise they will tell you what was the purpose of that money oba watuwa miliyoni 3 ate twakusiba tutya
zaali zaaki
ne bakufinishinga obwakuno bukya
gwagala okuba nti onyirira nga wenfanana ekirevu kitimagana bulungi okusala kaviiri makinda osalu njobe ejja kubekkolako Mzee Tamale tubadde mukuwummula waliwo omukulu agambye nti oli smart nnyo
anti ngenda mugonde nze olususu bagiyita Brenda
Beauty World yekunyiriza
amasuuti gano waliwo wa family member wange n'obusaati obwenyambala ku ssaani kakati gwe bw'okuba essimu nze nga nkutwalayo gibiri
weewaawo
yes
kale maliza ensonga tugende ku nsonga ya minisita
nti the problem you are making is that you don't have the reality kakati basajja balaba hard to buy as this man Kakumba had to pay $2 million to Tinyefunza because Tinyefunza had acquired the house si yeyeka musite je Tinyefunza nasanga Tinyefunza ngesisirizi zigira zitiyagala kutta musisi nebajimukoba mu nyumba yabadde himself enyumba nebajimujjamu naye olozerimu omuntu they just wanted because all the generals senior army officers when Otafire was the Minister of Local Government yabawa amayumba nabo bakatumba bagayina but why did they target Tinyefunza kakati ekyokubiri nti mu unfairness yalimu nti basajja balaba bwategeera ti government baliwo amuwadde ssente entono enguzi gye yawaayo tebaliddwa n'awandikira president nti owaayi ssente zebampadde eki ntono Kabasi yakwata ebbaluwa Kabasi n'awandika n'agamba awandikira Kiddu Makubuya ne Minister of Finance Saida Boom if there is any way of helping this man to get more money please do so Kiddu Makubuya ne Saida Bumba ne batuula bonga bamanyi reality
bamanyi ekituufu ekiri
nti omusajja ono
alina yateekayo
yagaba enguzi nolwekyo bwemuwa ssente zino si zeezo
abalala kiiki yateekayo
kakati bwe babakwata Kasiyano Wadiri yali alina obukyayi ku Museveni n'abagamba nti you implicate Museveni nti
yabalagira
kakati basaida Bumba ne babulandalinga
bagwa mu katego
but Kabasi who wrote that letter became a minister when these one were dropped. That's why I tell you that Uganda will battle pushers.
Katabo kano
we collapse in every building.
Okay.
Yes. Two. Nti ne bwona ogenda mu kooti n'abalamuzi ne balooya nabo baagala enguzi. That's why basajja balaba does not leave court cases. Nti gwe tolowooza nti case bagikolera government to force this man to vomit.
Okay.
Baleeta balooya ne baleeta kye ne bakubira akalisiga ne bakuba obwamawulire ne bakugera bajja kubayokamu omuyinza omusajja gwe nali nsinga okwagala General Parts a dead person cannot sue. General Parts yesanga mu kizibu nga yali akola waliwo olutalo wakati w'omugenzi Kiggundo mu governor ne deputy we Bukumune. Fighting in the Bank of Uganda has not just started. Nga ne mwina ayagala kuva eri ajjeni. Akati Kiseka influenced Uganda Commercial Bank to give a lot of money to General Parts. General Parts nga ne bw'oyingiramu obuyingizi onywa soda. Kakati General Parts nakugamba nti omukwano gwe twagujja ne BMK. General Parts yali akonvinsinze Kiseka alagire Paul Etyanga yali minisita Kamasi bawere sipeeyo omukadde nti General Parts bali be bamuganya okutunda monopoly.
Okay.
Where do you have monopoly? Mbwe America basaba gitume moli mukula leka kutufera.
Okay.
Kono na linya lya kabaka. Lakito gitume moli. Kakati Bank of Uganda. Omusajja omuvuka yali wa mawulire. Singa abantu bali nga General Parts ne basa ku busajja bono. Mbuyina ekibiina kyabwonkwabye. Kyobula bwe omwana bigirwa nabaga tebasobola mukwata. Why?
Ni bamukwata.
Anti umusibo omuvunaana ki?
Era olwo ali munda.
Anti kyekuli babatadde. False pretense gyosibira omuntu. Nti neyisaani owaiso
bwekiri.
Bano balina ekibiina kyabwe bakiyita nkwabye. If you have that in your cupboard
nga bakwabya
bw'otabawa ssente kati ye ono omukazi ye abakwata bukwasi
yakiriza kumwala
ye teyakiriza ye talina ekyebaabya naye nobeera n'ekibiina nkwabye nalweso kyawa ssente obwo bulimu bwonna bwabwe emmotoka obwo buli mu nkwabye ewange kuba mutayimbwa mu mutwe bw'ojja ebyobusiro kakati gundi
General
Parts kitanda yali munnamawulire nga musoga Bukumu n'amubuulira nti UCB oyo mwine gy'ayagala okuva egenda kugwa baawula General Parts ssente nnyingi General Parts tasobola zisasula. You go and expose this story abantu babuuze how can a man who has run Uganda Commercial Bank to the drain bamuwa batyo bwa Governor Bank of Uganda. Kitanda omusoga kagenda wa General Parts ng'amugandisebwe General Parts nguinako story. We not send the billions wasted, but you are failed to service you alone. I'm going to expose it. General Parts ngamugandi mwana wange. Bw'okuba story eyo ne benzijako ebintu e Japan. Bagenda kunnyima bagenda kutegeera nkoze eki. Mpeddemu. Kwata ssente. Kitanda ng'agenda. Obwafu bwabwe. Ng'akyakala bwezamugwako oluvannyuma lw'emyezi egi ngaddeyo
asaba endala
ng'amusaba kakati General Parts ng'amugamba ogwokusana jangu essaawa 12 ojje tusinkane ssente ojja zisanga waka kitanda bamutira mu kkubo ng'agenda singa omusajja bwabukedde nga kano akaleega olugongo kano akalya ssente okuba ssente ne bubakereziya kuba babuwadde ssente singa abayo omusajja akabalula nojjanga ewange nekuba omutayimbwa mu mutwe ng'onoonya enguzi. So this is how nti when you look at the surface you don't understand these things ebiri mu government tosobola bitegeera is me because I was in this government for 14 years and in a very strategic position and I had interest in knowing and writing nti mba mmanyi bwe bakola nti kakati basirise bonna. But if this Ministry of Kampala tries to block Kiwanukazi project, bagenda kukwata abamuwulire bakuba omukazi ono bali bamutandise tewalabakonga batandikira wala nnyo. You don't understand these people. They start by writing small stories. Kati balina so-called bloggers. Kasola ba negative publicity nga abanene mwebali. Kigenda okweexplodinga. Kakati nze president Munenya. Sibanya Simunenya. Museveni is not a mafia. Museveni is not known to these practices.
Okay.
Museveni believes that a judge is a judge. Museveni believes that a briefing from a person like this woman who says that I'm drunk as if I'm your husband. Mama, me I have no problem. Me I have no interest in angry women. Two, if the fingers eziri ku ngalo zange singa mbadde wampita zaggwawo, have no room for you.
Hey, what do that?
Yes. So if you are looking for a boyfriend who does not drink beer, get off my back.
Okay. Akulida kuvuddeko. Nze Tamale.
Kakati
yagundi ya minister.
N'ekyo nja kwanalayizingira ekizimbe kya Nsimbamanyi.
So
the president made a decision, they are circulating his letters. Like any other earlier submissions, the president is basing on falsehoods.
Okay.
Tujajigindako beyiru.
Tujajigindake yasimbamanyi.
Kakubye kana omanyi bukedde n'abo abaana abo aba red paper. Era bwe bukyakuba bulowoozayo ssente.
Okay.
Your newspapers have collapsed. You redefine the role of media and how you can restore the credibility to depend on the saturation. Because when you read the history of newspapers, I also wrote a book, The History of Media in Uganda. But let me tell you, the mistakes they are doing, when you are writing a newspaper today, half must be reported, half must be analyses.
Okay.
People read to analyze. But if you have like a columnist in the Monitor, you read. When I'm reading every day, I buy Daily Nation, but especially Sunday Nation. These are written by scholars.
Okay.
I'm a novelist. Simanya I'm an activist. Simanya I'm a word. Mumitwe, no quotations. Kakati. Olupapula lutundirwa naddala a weekly newspaper etandikira ku analysis. You cannot run observer with the current affairs.
Okay.
It is story. Museveni agenda ku addressing abantu n'aba addressing enkya kiwedde, but you are on the street for a week. They don't know how to write a weekly newspaper. They don't know how to write a goon. Ekyokubiri, when you look at the rise of radio in America in 1923, the print media was affected, the adversely affected. You hear every day newspaper reviews, and these people give you free copies to review them. These newspaper reviews are done by Katemba people. So you can, a Katemba man can dramatize this book. By the time you read this story, if you buy, this story already you get it. I just had them where bisoko. Bagitaddemu ebisoko bagitaddemu kye bagirimbiddemu. Kakati you must sit down nti your newspapers, a newspaper cannot turn into a school, but they are planning ways of surviving.
Okay.
They are not breaking evening. Tebakyasobola kutunda mawulire. Why? Nti as you have sold yourselves to the highest buyer.
Okay.
Mbakuba nembajjawo mbakuba omuntu omu nembajjawo nembakuba omuntu omu nembajjawo nembakuba omuntu omu kubanga nze mbadde wano.
Nze Tamale kkiriza katugende ku nsonga ya Minister Janet Museveni. Yavudde nabanga BMPs baagala okumanya bamanya ebigenda maaso kugula kwa amasomero. Yabagambye is not going to parliament, balina kutuula bagende kololo aba briefing irawo. BMPs bagamba nti kino jogo kubayisa mu maaso because omukulu Semu Uganda yavudde nagamba under rule 52 ministers balina okujja mu parliament ne ba addressinga ebigenda mu maaso ku nsonga eziri mu ministry zaabwe but on the floor of parliament so sikusamoninga babaka kugenda gye bali
anti tebaliizoninga. Why? I told somebody yesterday nti if mu political science batugamba nti if you want to evaluate somebody's influence in the government, you don't look at the government chart. A government chart does not give you the proper analysis of somebody's influence. In politics, one who's influence in the government is measured by the distance between where he is and the social political power.
In politics?
Yes. Kakati tojja gamba nti yes, Afende Muhoozi is a general, but he can access his father informally. Informally. Like his son. Yes. So he's not like other generals. No. I'm a realist. I'm not an idealist. Okay. Okay. When it comes to meeting him, he's meeting his father. Is the father. For you, you are meeting the commander-in-chief. When it comes to the first lady, it's different. It's not an ordinary minister like you. But she's not meeting her children. But our MPs. Let me ask. I wonder when me I cannot engage in a battle with some Uganda. Why? No, this is not a system of Uganda. When the first lady goes to parliament, does she depend on security from the policemen who are guarding that area? Or she comes with these special guns? Mzee Tamale, so chogeza kugamba nti chiganya president kwenda parliament is security? It could be. It's not an equal minister like you. It's targeted. Yaba the reason is big. It could be. Yaba the reason is big. Minister yagambye lwaki baba kwa addressing abagala kololo ate bona bakoze covid tests. Tebalina argument. We have seen the parliament during a speech reading the budget and what getting out of parliamentary premises to where to different places. Yes, what they have to do is pass a motion that according to today's sitting we have declared this place as parliament. Haven't they have ever gone to Kololo? How many functions have been held at Kololo? And mukasera ka covid they are reasoning like this woman who has an interest in me when I don't have any interest in angry women. Who talks about me when I'm not around? Leave that woman. Madam. Today issue yenyini. Mzee Tamale singa minister. Akili hakuna. Singa minister don't waste the president very over time. Whenever you get access to the president has a lot of time. If you woman, you believe that you will get way to State House, that whenever Museveni wants me, when you ring me, you find me drunk. How does he get the recorded tapes? If he does not, if he has a gateway, have I ever used you to transfer to transfer recorded tapes? If not, Madam, akili hakuna. Wacha mimi. Tukomeo ku nsonga bwekibanga minister of education Janet Museveni asamuniza bamba MPs bagende Kololo nabo tebakikola ekyo butandika mujjewa kyenkunyonyodde. The first lady is not an ordinary minister like you, like other ministers. Why? If you believe why she's the first lady. If if the terrorists are targeting targets, the first lady can be targeted. Yes, security emaze. Security emazoko. Is she in the practice of directing a parliament to shift whenever she wants to talk to parliament? Didn't she go to parliament appointment authority committee to clear her name to be appointed minister? So when somebody does something strange, my brain rings. Okay. Yes, my brain. But Nganda believes that he's an ordinary good. He's an ordinary minister like them. So you are not. From today, Bachimanye, first lady, see ordinary minister. He's not an ordinary minister. Let me tell you. It is a bland, yali bland, yali president okuwa first lady wa minister. Kubanga kigotanye emirimu. Nkubulira nti repercussions zitunulire. I wrote a brief omukono olwabo ogonaga navumye nazala. Yes, but my concerns were clear. Wayogera ku bintu byali balengeza. Na intelligence Kabushenga used to carry out Amuche opinion polls featuring Afende Muhoozi, featuring the first lady and Kadaga. The strategy was Museveni to fight with the first lady, Okadaga, so that Mbabazi emerges. This is what we do with Turkish. Tudi ekimotoka ky'amanda ntukiteekamu kamunye. Bwe bakwata ekimotoka ky'amanda fene tuyita. This is why Kenya was being inflated. nga kabushinga mu inflating nze nalimbi manyi ebyo nze kamanda wa nze expert wabyo
gwe kafulu wabyo
nze kafulu wabyo reverse psychology inflate if Ugandans have hated the first lady her husband can they vote the first lady?
No.
The first lady or a member of the first family except this one who is hated can benefit from Museveni.
Yes.
That the term I'm caught up by the term limits, I'm bringing this one. People do it. They do it. It's Chisoboka. There was a time in Poland when the president and the prime minister were twins. People used to separate them by their suits.
Okay.
Yes. Chibera in Brazil, a president Saliva. Bali bamwagala nnyo, but when they knew that he was coming back, they started maligning him. Yalekawo vice way. Somebody jumps on your popularity that have been caught up nga gundi Clinton gundi bano Bush bawangula bamwijjako balibaman ba aligo ndi kubanga yagadde omukazi bagenda realizing was popular. It's only because this woman in America is not prepared for a female president. Kakati to be analyzing and to tegeera Mandela yalina mukazi we but they had fallen apart. Yagenda mulonda kuba minister nga baawukanye. Machero yalina mukazi we nga minister of education. But they have repercussions. Galanga yalina mukazi we nga general. Rebecca Galanga. As she featured well after the demise of Galanga. No. Yes. Era natulidde Sudan. Ne mbagamba nti Abasudan bomu baveeko. Balina public relations.
How?
This prime minister who was held hostage by the army after the coup came out looking as if has been coming from his house. Namulabe kwa Algeria. Well dressed, confident, well looking. Kati gwe mutwale na lufenyi. Singa yabadde wawa. Is only Museveni who cares about public relations. Ndi Museveni bakwata gundi Professor Newton Ojok, former Minister of Education, ngalinera kwena. Nga yinemvirizibwe David. Museveni directed them to take him to a saloon, buy him a nice suit, shoes to appear in the press conference.
Okay.
Kamata wuyu. Era nze mmanyi nti eyo okutta gundi oyo mu colored blood. It can cause them problems.
Okay. Mzee Tamale,
so,
ngatuva kusonga ya masomero.
First understand.
Minister agenda kwa addressinga aba MPs. Agenda kwa yogera kusonga yo kugula amasomero. Ne tunembere gye tulimwe gwange gwanga. Bomuske ya weziri, COVID-19 yacha twade mu mbere.
When will we end?
Tuna okuda ku masomero. Ngatuchali mu mbere okutya security nayo nge gwanga lichali mu bunkeke. Okuda abantu bazadde bana.
And you are like those people who say to talk to these people. Talk to those people.
Era madenzija. What twogera naba. Government eveyogera na.
What agenda
do they have? No, they spoke to Konyi. Ngaba yogera ne Konyi. What twogera ne.
Konyi was fighting to overthrow the government.
ADF yokola ki?
Yes.
Maloba na Uganda.
Tugomya abantu. Mumulete mwabamanyi jeri mulete. Museveni yagamba I don't want to talk to Konyi but because I'm under pressure Lugunda genda otese. Era ne yagenda bwetwagenda Juba ye yagamba yagenda n'ababuuzaako era n'ababuulira I read one gundi one time nti gundi nti abo is not my initiative. It's Salva Kiir who told me. And they sent a message through Gundi Macha so that the ADF bring emotion. Send somebody so that we know what they are discussing.
It is the government because
a government is given coercive forces to do what? To negotiate. The moment, for instance, when you say, let us talk to Kizza Besigye, because Besigye has refused to concede defeat.
Yes.
What if Besigye becomes the president and somebody does it again to refuse to concede defeat? Go to court. Governments don't operate. It's like me. Governments operate like me. You switch it off my programs. What if you succeeded? You poisoned me 5 times. What if you succeeded?
Okay.
Would you be talking to me?
No.
Would you be talking to my grave? Now that I've an upper hand, board the vehicle to Hague and compensate him. No reconciliation.
So
I can do without
no talks.
Yes. Anti-talks are initiated like the separatists. For instance, Britain fought the Irish Republican Army for a longer time. Yes. Okay. Like this woman who is calling me a drunkard. How many people have you? No. When somebody talks about you in the presence of the president, that we ring him, but he's always a drunk. When do you ring me? Kakati kankuvuli. Echo mu propaganda tuchita name calling. Baptism. Who has not been abused? You abused the Bobby Wine. Muyimbi. Adeja ayimbira.
MDB bichi.
Kono akakazi kagundi. Je muri je tuli pakaitani. Kagede wabwako mu constituency. Tetusobola kulonda mu yakabada akagatta obugulu. Katika advisor ka president. Yes. What about Museveni? Museveni was also abused. Obata used to call him a bandit, not a rebel.
Okay.
Obata was asked, why don't you talk to Museveni? He said, was being interviewed by a BBC correspondent. Why do you talk about Luwero? Masaka is peaceful. Jinja is peaceful. Mbala is peaceful. If there is anybody who cheated Museveni, is Kutesa, not a DP. He's a DP, not UPC. Museveni was a scout. Museveni never fought. To call me a drunkard, you woman, you cannot match my intellectual capacity. The only something you have written in your life is a letter to your boyfriend.
Mzee Tamale, talking about the president, you cannot talk to the president. Omukulu obegwanga. President w'eggwanga eri Rwanda Paul Kagame yabadde ne ku interview ku international DM n'agamba tebakyayogera na president Yoweri Kaguta Museveni kubanga tumanyi bulungi eggwanga lya Uganda ne Rwanda boda zaggalwa mu June oba mu Feb wa 2019 era nga buli nsi erina ewagamba nti buli omu alina abayirisha ba supporting. Kagame is saying, President Kagame is saying nti Uganda bukulembeze buli mu ggwanga Uganda budde kasana nga butigomba abanyarwanda bubayigga bwebasanga bagamba bali sensitive mu ggwanga basimanya bali basupporting obuyekera so naye agamba nti ekikolo ekyo okuba nti abalonda batulugulizibwa mu ggwanga Uganda kyamutuvako okuba nti buda ziggalwa bamuza okuba nti aggulawo n'agamba as long as tebana okuba nti batereeza okuba nti bayisawo by'abanyarwanda wano mu nsi yatu Uganda tagenda kuba nti aggulawo ggwanga Uganda. Tugamba East African Federation nga ensi zino bana abakulu baganya okuba nti bakwatagana n'akasimu tekakyaliwo kituleka wanga omukago kigulekawa okuba n'enkolagana y'eggwanga Uganda kitulekawa.
You see, every country, when you do international relations, mu Uganda mulimu ministry yasoma conflict resolution. Tebamuyitanga kona kutawulula maka. When you do international relations, every country has interest to pursue beyond its borders.
Yes.
Every country has to do. In many cases, what divides leaders does not normally affect the population. There is no problem with the Rwandese here. The Rwandese are known. How can you say that the Rwandese are being harassed in Uganda?
Very harassed. Very makomera.
When even the word Masaka means Masaka is a Chinyarwanda word. Masaka.
Okay.
Can you do without Banyarwanda? I said most of the people who masquerade as Baganda, 40% of Baganda who claim Baganda have Chinyarwanda blood. So there is no way you can kill Munyarwanda here. The problem at times is with the elites, the elites. Those the government targets, others in many cases become victims. We are known Banyarwanda. In fact, on my village, the half of the village belongs to Barundi.
Nimze tabali bogamba bwotyo ngenda ko kana muko nawe. Katuje kutuje mwebwe gwa jano kayihura. Kale kayihura waliwo ensonga yatambulanga. Waliwo bali bakotanga myande babaziza. Kagame byayogera ko.
I told you ndi Kisangani temujimanyi. The battle of Kisangani will never unite Rwanda and Uganda.
And okay.
I want to tell you.
Obuzibu vaawo.
Yes. The battle. And the Kisangani. I told you that Rwanda planted imperialism in your heads. That everybody, when you have a problem with Rwanda, I want somebody to tell me, apart from being suffering from imperialism. You give me an item in your house made in Rwanda. We would be more concerned by Kenya. By Kenya.
Sijine Rwanda. Why we are concerned? No, why we are concerned? Market Africa. You
must understand. Until recently, there has been how many times has Eritrea gone to war with Ethiopia? Zenawi and Afeki fought together. This is why Eritrea has sent forces to reinforce Ethiopian army. And it tells you that this man you see in Addis Ababa is not a fool. He first normalized relationship with the Eritrea.
Okay.
Opened the border. He knew this. Immediately, these rebels threatened the security of Ethiopia. Eritrean troops went in.
Okay.
Which did not please the Americans. The Americans condemned that is widening the war. I think also Egypt must be involved.
Okay.
Because they were angered by the Ethiopian dam. The issues there. But what I'm telling you, at one time, Ethiopia and Eritrea were using one currency. Why did they fight? Sovereignty. Sovereignty. I always give you an example. I grew up in my brother's home, but he does not give me directives. Even when they have, there's a function at his. He rings me and informs me.
Yeah.
Kakati muhabadugavu. America gives much money to Israel than it collects. But there's a strong lobby in America, the Jewish lobby. But does America always give Israel directives?
No.
Yes, they disagree because these are independent states.
Yes, but
this is you. Why you people? Once you base a friendship, a country's relationship with another country, on the friendship between the two leaders, the leaders, you will fail. You look what Kenya can politic it. Later Odinga will fight with Uhuru Kenyatta.
I think
I'm telling you what happened to Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta. Because Kenyatta believes that is going to use the
friendship.
The Kabila example. Let me control the parliament. Let me control the Senate and remain active. Because this man is coming from Jubilee. He's not coming from Jubilee. Yeah. The Kikuyus are saying, because of the handshake, this man demonstrated that he supported, stabilized the Kenyatta government. But the problem is Raila going to become Moi or kufata nyayo ya Kenyatta? You look at the character of Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga would like to stamp his foot on the Kenyan politics. He has not been part of government.
Yes.
Has been in the sideline. The person who would give Kenyatta security would be Ruto. Why? Ruto would be saying, give me the next 5 years or 10 to consolidate what we have achieved. But now, Ruto disassociates himself from the achievements of the government.
Okay.
Raila cannot inherit the failures because if he has come for the voters are divided into two. Those who have come to change and those who have come to consolidate. But where does Raila Odinga come in?
Change.
He's coming for change.
Yes.
Not to
consolidate. Yes. He's coming for change.
The two people are going to conflict because Uhuru's security is to remain active and he's young. They look right with Raila Odinga. When Raila Odinga was appointed the Minister of Works, he demolished the illegal buildings belonging to the Kikuyus. He even forced the government to there's a forest called the Kole Forest in Nairobi. Mayumba gone yakakubamo.
Rwanda na Uganda.
Amawanga gamwe mugabesinga ku relationship.
Twali naffe ono munnaffe
twanyifenna. Ignore the relationship. Kadiri hunting down in Rwandese, you see Ugandans, but no Uganda mubafeko. They are very mature people.
Yes.
Unless a Ugandan is incited, Uganda is a very
Tamale bino byawule. Banna Uganda nabakulembeza batutwala.
Kakati
Kagame is not blaming Uganda.
China abatira abantu malwale ne batwala organization. Have Ugandans started chasing away Chinese?
President is not blaming Ugandans. He's blaming the establishment, the leadership.
Yes. Kakati fete chitukwatako.
Chitukosa.
We cannot the two of you cannot tell you. You are like a children. When you are in a family, you find mbagamba bulijjo. Teoyizo kukyali wa mukoddomyo. Nakuwe enkoko nakolaki. Ugenda okulya ekiro ng'empisi buga mu kisenge. Wali wakubulya ekibalwanya. Ansiseko bulangiti yayimpowered kiro. They cannot tell you. Children cannot be told what their children, their parents are fighting for. Okay. They cannot know. That's why Senga comes in. For public relations, President Kagame will tell you this. And the president is in the practice of keeping quiet. He's older than Kagame. Okay. Kakati, the issue is we cannot understand the real problem.
How can this be solved? Solving a talk nation is being as it down. What should be done? You
can choose your friends, but relatives, but you cannot choose your neighbors. Uganda and Rwanda will remain in the same places.
Yes.
Unless one captures the other. So what do you see? Coexisting. But Rwanda is also strategic. As you plan to isolate it by constructing roads in Congo, as you try to, it goes to Tanzania. Your pipeline is not moving. Yeah. It's becoming
the gauge rail is also not moving.
Yes. And if, without Rwanda's consent, are you going to, your presence in Congo will be very expensive. Okay. Yes. Because for me, the information I have, and I'm internationally informed, NATO wanted to deploy, to put soldiers in Congo. Or they're negotiating with the Kenyan soldiers, the Kenyan government, out of their experience in Somalia. Yes. Okay. And I told you, when you boyogera ne nshikedi, ali mu shadows nga kabira yafuga, atenge ebyapa by'ababirigi, gwagenda okukola yendagaano ebyapa byani. Again, have you talked to the right person? It's only at one time, Singapore invested, had factories in China after the negotiation. But China is very strategic. At one time, before people were rejecting China, had not trust in the Chinese goods. Chinese goods would go as made in Taiwan or Singapore until they are made their own. So relationship depends on maturity. Maturity. They are like families. You cannot, nobody will ever tell you the problems between the President Kagame and the President Museveni. Nobody will tell you. And the two of them cannot reveal it. Because there are certain things that the population cannot understand.
Mzee Tamale, abasawo batadde wansi ebikola.
I have children who are medical doctors.
Batadde wansi ebikola bakoye okubandi babasuubiza.
They are problems.
Tebasobola tekijja bikasa tekijja. They are problems. Bagalo febe abegerenge ekolebwako. Bafune ku mayumba.
I strongly doubt whether it is a genuine strike by doctors.
Why?
Yes. I know the hallmarks of the mafias.
Mzee Tamale, era bino kinekyo kirimu mafia? Omusawo abagala kwanda mwongeza ku musaala.
Why does it?
President yagesa directive.
You see, I told you.
Muliza Mzee Tamale. President yagesa directive n'agamba nti buli musawo yenna aweebwa omulimu.
I told you.
Tebituukirizibwa.
I told you.
Bongezebwa omusaala tebiriiwo.
I told you. Me, I look at the hallmarks of the mafia.
Okay.
Mafias strike, engineer strikes in education at the time when children are going to school or they are about to do their exams. As a trade unionist, I know. You strike when you will be ferret. Bwe badda mu ssomero bayincitinga abasomesa. Bwe baba ng'ebigezo bigenda kukolebwa bayincitinga abasomesa. Yes, to pressurize the parents. Two, there is a build-up nga bwe nakugambye. Bwe baba banaasuma ng'akabinja kano kanaasuma kati mwebaze yagenze waffe mbw atwale Sango Bay mugenda kusimbawo binazi. Tujja kubitwala Sango Bay si wammwe.
Sango Bay
si wammwe ebinazi sesa bifunyeemu ki. Baakuba kasolo labe baakuba kasolo abule wayogerera take bana basajja mbamanyi bamukuba kuwe mupi ne baleta atayogera aleme kulwanira Sangobbe ne bayistolingawo ono gundi ne balwanyisa Kasolo ne Kisekulo bali omuntu wo chairman wa 5 ne babatabula
ne babawula
bayagala okuyisaawo Sangobbe
ninge babalanya abasajja
tumwebaze ebizibu byoyina tumwebaze. You have so many challenges. I don't expect that this is the time to mwebaze to add on to Sangobbe. If you are looking for money, look it somewhere else.
Okay.
They build up.
Okay.
I told you, if I was in intelligence, in intelligence services, I would have warned the government. Why do you publish scandals in government?
In government.
20 billion allocated, 50 billion stolen, 90 billion this. Kakati gundi yalagawa. Yali afusenga gundi.
Era fusanga.
Ono gwe yayimba simanyi kyakinaali nalis. Ono gundi. Ono gundi. Magezi. Abadde asaba billion zinga zigaba parishes. Where is the money on the parish level? Parish model. Ziriwa. The impact ng'omugagga omu agenda ku kyalo n'agula omwenge n'abatamiiza. Impact ya billion ziriwa. So all of these scandals in the media are intended to incite. When I read the scandals, yes, whenever I read the stories of scandals in your media, I know the mafias are at play. The mafias are at play. This is why the government, I think, has not come out for compensation. Those who were injured. Baba de batandise bibi. November bullets.
39 victims killed.
Memorial service. And here Chikoze.
Bobby Wine.
Yes. To remember these people.
Nedda
bategeeza mu 7 nti this thing has been running for a long time. Tebasasulwanga. This is an issue of not solved. Kyobula katuni emusekerera nesekerera ne bali omunsi. Kati bali omunsi olwobutamanya mawulire yabakubidde abamuniza n'abeebaza n'okwebaza nga katuni emwambudde empale ne mukamaawe.
Bakoze omulimu omulungi.
Once you see scandals of billions, when would somebody go on a strike? Somebody would have gone on a strike during COVID. When they lacked the essential, natuukako okubuuza abaana bange ne mbabuuza ti ekyambalo ekyo mugenda kufa babibyamu bigula mmeka? Tibigula $220, $100, $10 mmeka? Naye ndoza $220 naye okutuusa Britain yagaa nti babiddamu nimbaga mugule $5. Yes.
Okay.
If they do not strike during COVID, when their lives were at stake, let this woman call me a drunkard as if I'm his brother.
Tamale.
But akili yangu akili sana, akili rasmi, akili kwa Kiswahili tunasema akili rasmi na akili ya bala. Akili ya bala hiyo akili ya chalo. Kiswahili kichwa yangu kichwa rasmi. I don't believe I've not been elevated by privileges or nepotism. Everywhere I have been is my capacity, and I've never applied in my life to a job. And at 50, because I'm celebrating 50 years on Saturday, at 50, that I can write an application form. At 50, for me, to write, at 50 to write that I need a job. Those who are privileged, you are privileged, but don't insult us. Don't think that we meandered into State House. Don't think the problem you are facing and your friends is that you are facing a character like me for the first time.
Okay.
Tebalabanga ku muntu atajogerwa. Kyovulaba nti mbalimi okusolovinga. Okay. Let us keep him, he will come kneeling way to enter heaven. Kneeling way.
Mzee Tamale, tumalize ne.
So I tell you, nti what they first insight the Baganda kola iti okusereza erigenda wa emugga. Nti anybody will feel aggrieved. Sente mmeka kakati bagenda kuwulira nti kiri owalagidde biliyoni ze basasula abasajja ababbi anaaba ali awo kiri walagedde basasula owino ebyobubbi obwere.
But Minister of Health yayewa obuwumbi 100 mu budget.
Yes, and you see these people, as I told you, why is it that the strike follows the scandal surrounding oyo omukazi Musenero? Mbamanyi nnyo.
Scandal eriyerese kino.
And Museveni came up and defended, which is correct. Nakalema naye najjayo omutwe. I'm being taken to court. You be taken to court. Would you like it to be taken to the toilet? If your office is illegal, court will uphold it. Naye yabadde ajjayo omutwe. Museveni membu. Nakalema is also decorated. How many decorated people shall we have?
Okay.
Ono ayina kyalagawo. Yes.
Tumaze ne kino. East African Parliament.
Don't jump on her good.
Okay.
All of the people you have arrested have been released by courts of law. Even if they recognize Nakalema is a mere aide of the president who has been assigned. The people, the institutions that are mandated to this work, side D is the IGG and Auditor General. Nowhere. He is an assistant. He's a Panado. Nakalema is a Panado. He's not a Chua. Panado.
Nze Tamale tumaze nene ensonga East African Committee yagala kuba nti esala ku babaka abakiikirira abagenda mu parliament ya EAR egamba nti budget egenda ku staff ku parliament eyoka 35% revenues ez'omukago zazigenda mu kulwaninga parliament eyo entula zaayo kusasula misaala bagamba baka bave ku mwenda badde ku batano buli nsi.
For you, even if you take a 10, what has been your impact? Speaker mwamujjako bateekako n'omulala. Women are quarreling over men because they are seeing men with money for the first time in the East African community. You take a Yowabuvuyo to the East African community. The problem is not how many people, but how have you benefited? How have you benefited? Nti gundi ambassador, the late ambassador aneni yayina ekifo kye mu Rwanda bwe yajja nani omulala ne bakikutula mu bisatu. Upapajjo. The money came back. The issue is not representation. No. This is an experiment. I strongly doubt because a federation touches creating of a new government and surrendering your sovereignty.
Yes.
The new created government. This is where the puzzle is going to be. Like in Kenya, they can come and say we are Pentagon, but once it comes to choose one presidential candidate, they split.
Okay. This
is an experiment, and all countries, member countries, saw it as an extension of the civil service. Nti ono bamuwagende.
Okay.
At one time Kusasira was interested in going to the because they are seeing it as another office. She's correct.
No.
They are people like, who worse than Kusasira who have gone there.
She's qualified.
Yes.
No.
Tinjagala tufune profile. Eyababaka bava mawanga mala n'abafu. Profile.
Ababaka bava mu Sindala. N'abafu n'abone baffe Uganda. Yes, nti agudde mu kubwe mupia yakala agende atwaleyo bali abantu be mu bakuganya atu obusiru bw'obutwali mu gundu. These people who are diplomats. People who know international relations. Bawenga mukwano gwaffe wano Dr. Dean. Yoye musajja olabadde.
Chinkubulira.
Yeah, qualification za zirina.
Nti once you are sending bwe kibanga muyina an intelligence council, you take there your best.
Yes.
This one we are asking. Lwaki Kibulu akyusizza ate?
Akyusizza spring.
Under the environment conditions. You look at him. Ayinza okubanga in the face of the Islamic gundi bano, they need a vibrant man. Or not a vibrant man. Ono gundi abadde tayo.
Musajja abadde musirisi.
Musajja wera kayiwafu. Gundi oyo is a humble man.
Okay.
How can you move to come and participate in a panel, a TV talk show?
Sikira kubanga nsoka ngina kuba mberekereza mbadde bali balungi mbeba za kubatanga kitaka tukomye stars nene omukama bankumire teva Quest TV ngina kuza producer wange Snapchat
bogo babalala
kamera
nze sikyali under state house
control room mbeba za
if you are interested in me I have no job
sports yadako ni mwana ni saika nyiseka teva Quest TV. Assalamu alaikum.